Patti Bax. Trust me, y'all, it's going to be a great one, and we hope you enjoy it once again just as much as we did doing the interview. With that said, for my lovely wife Cecilia and me, your boy Larry B, this is the Sports Cult Perspectives right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Our exclusive interview with Fran Bax right after this.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. We are coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernick.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the 08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies.
And your one-timers.
Your wicked wristas.
And be sure to protect your five-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Well, as you heard in the introduction of our show tonight, we have ourselves a very, very special guest. Let me just say, the honor is so surreal because, what some people would give to be in just one Hall of Fame in a sport. But, well, as you heard in the introduction again, this gentleman is a part of not one, not even two, 6 Hall of Fames. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Cecilia's and my great honor to have on our show tonight husband of the IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer, that is Miss Patti Bax, or Mrs. Patti Bax, the host of our Tuesday night Buffalo show, the Buffalo Huddle, 6-time Hall of Famer, 6-time bowling Hall of Famer, incredible, former professional, and just overall great guy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, of course, the one, the only, and did I mention he was in 6 Hall of Fames, Mr. Fran Bax. Good to have you, sir. How are you doing tonight?
Very well, thank you, Larry, and thank you very much for this opportunity to have me on your show tonight.
Well, sir, we are very, very happy to have you as well. It is so cool when we brought up the idea, of course, about bowling and everything. I mean, we could look no further than you. Kind of funny. This show was actually, we were supposed to be, because you and I talking for the defining moment, which airs on Monday. And this is, once again, this is kind of funny. My wife and I got to talking, and because we're both bowling fans, and she's like, "Hey, like, We should do that on our shows. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I stole it from him.
Well, here we are tonight, and once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Sunday evening, of course, March 4th. Actually, March 5th, sorry. The show, of course, is airing on this Friday, but you guys already knew that. So, with that said, Mr. Fran Bax, sir, you have done some amazing things in your lifetime, and we're just happy you're here to share those stories with us. So, first things first, we want to start this thing off and just say, once again, welcome, and thank you again, and well, I guess on with the first question for you, because, it's not like I've mentioned it several thousand times on the show already tonight, even before you got on live with us, but Mr. Bax, how did you manage to get into 6 Hall of Fames?
Well, it wasn't the easiest thing to do to get myself into 6 Halls of Fame for bowling. In fact, I've been an active bowler since I was probably 7, 8 years old, and I grew up in the youth ranks. I think what actually started it all, number one, was my very first year out of youth leagues. I was all 17 years old, and I actually bowled in a league where I ended up having the highest average for men in Niagara Falls at the time, which was like 198. So that was a start. And then I was a senior in high school at the time, and I used to have a sponsor used to pick me up out of school claiming he was my boss. And instead of going to work, we ended up going into the Buffalo area and going to some of the bowling centers on the west and east side of Buffalo and just going down there and bowling for whatever amount of money in jackpots and actions that we could get ourselves involved in. And I was probably making more a night doing that than a lot of my high school friends were working in a week or a month at their minimum wage jobs.
That's crazy.
Incredible.
So that's kind of how it all started, and getting the opportunity to do that on such a competitive level. And then I started, rather than just bowling in Niagara Falls all the time and bowling jackpots in the Buffalo area, I got involved in some of the leagues in the Buffalo area and started turning out to be among one of the best bowlers in Western New York, which was awesome. But the biggest thing was in 1983, I was highly fortunate enough to bowl on a pickup team from the Buffalo area, in which we put up a team in the American Bowling Congress tournament, which was actually held in Niagara Falls that year. And fortunately, I had my career day where I happened to have bowled the highest series ever in that tournament on the very first day of the tournament. Never threw a ball in that tournament in my life because I actually wasn't eligible because I was bowling pro tournaments at the time. And what happened was we ended up winning the national team title that year, the 5-man team title, and then I finished second in all events. I led the all events from the third day of the tournament till the 98th, the second last day of the tournament, when a guy by the name of Tony Cariello, who was a touring pro out of Chicago, came in, and for 9 games, he beat me out of the all events title by 1 pin.
Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny, Fran. We had so many questions for you here tonight, and I think you answered like 5 of them in a row. Yeah. We're still going to try to ask them in a different way, but man, that was awesome. Well, heck of a way to get your career going. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's for sure. How many people on a team, or is it an individual type of sport?
Well, it really depends on the kind of competition you get involved in. Like the American Bowling Congress tournament in 1983 had 3 divisions. You had your team event, you had your doubles, and you had your singles.
Oh, okay.
But they also combined all the totals of your scores in the tournament for a fourth division called All Events. And like I said, I not only bowled the highest series in the tournament at the time, but I also, because I bowled so well those 3 games, it didn't take me much to have to bowl the other 6 games in the tournament a couple days later and to take that kind of lead. But unfortunately, like I said, several months later, the tournament was about to come to an end, and next thing I know, I got beat out of the all events. I ended up in second by 1 pin. But it basically depends on the kind of tournament it is. I bowled in team tournaments, doubles tournaments, singles tournaments, and it had been fortunate to win many of them. And of course, there's also team events, doubles leagues, singles leagues, which you can do like on a weekly basis during the bowling season.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. I've always wondered how that would work too, because there's so many different ways, sports can go, and that makes so much sense, doubles, and it depends on the type of tournament. So that makes total sense. So, Fran, there's this burning question that I've had since I think the day that I even asked you to do the interview and you agreed. And this is, sports, I'm sure, as well as I do, maybe even better. And that all around the world or in different, anywhere, even different states when it comes to like high schools and colleges even sometimes, or, however that may go. But the rules, I've always wondered, when there's a lot of different leagues, for instance, with you with bowling, is there a different set of rules in different leagues? I mean, I guess you can only do so much when it comes to a sport with different rules. But I've always just been so curious, if there is so many different leagues, are there different rules? And if you can throw one more thing on the top of that one, was there a specific league where you were like, yeah, this was probably the most difficult because of the rules, or maybe this was the easiest one because of the rules? So yeah, that's definitely a burning question that I got.
Well, Larry, it basically depends on the league. I mean, most of the leagues I've bowled in, the rules have been very simple, and a lot of that is because in the kind of leagues that I bowl in, which are scratch leagues, which means there's no handicap involved, the most difficult rules in the league, believe it or not, aren't necessarily around the playing field and the equipment specifications. It's actually around image, where you have to show up wearing a dressy polo shirt, dress pants, and basically have to behave yourself. Because if you didn't, and this happened to me a couple times, you either show up with either a pair of jeans on or a shirt that doesn't match up the rest of your team's uniform. Or if you decide to make an obscene gesture or a statement and more than a couple people hear you, they fine you.
Oh, wow.
And I've been fined as much as $50 for doing stuff in that. And that's just in leagues. We aren't even talking about the Pro Tour. Pro Tour, the fines are like 10 times more.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't cross your T's, dot your I's on a scorecard in a pro tournament, they have no problem fining you $100. Luckily, I've never been on that end of the problem. As bad as I am at math, never had that problem.
That's incredible. But then I guess it goes with it. In any sport, of course, too, the fines, professionalism, whatever they want you to do, however they want you to do it. So that makes total sense.
Otherwise, the playing rules are fine. I mean, the only expectation is that your ball meets hardness specification on what's called the D scale durometer, and that your ball doesn't weigh more than 15 pounds, 0.99 ounces, and that the balances between the finger side and the thumb side of the ball, as well as the left side and the right side of the ball, don't exceed an ounce.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that all that goes into it, too.
That is very specific.
Right?
Wow.
That's crazy. Did you ever have any rivals?
I've had a couple local rivals. But, you know, we're buddies now, so that's really not a super huge problem. But ever since the evolution of the bowling equipment in the last 20 or 30 years, we've basically made superstars out of basically bowlers that haven't really put a lot of work into the game because the equipment's become so sophisticated that they basically have taken out the element of practice, and you know they basically taken out of the game. Mm-hmm. And how fair is that for somebody that had all kinds of time into the game using basically a weaker legacy bowling ball, and next thing you know, they're beating you, and all of a sudden it gets all around the bowling community. Oh well, I beat so and so and so and so, and trying to get them to, you know, put their money where their mouth is and getting them to bowl these tournaments has been a real challenge, because that's where you're going to get the respect from the bowling community. It doesn't matter how great you bowl in leagues if you're that good. They want you to pack your bags up, pack your equipment up, go bowling in a tournament, either, you know, locally, 50 miles away, 100 miles away, go after that big cash and the prestige, but they don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get you. No, absolutely. Absolutely. That's huge. I mean, so I gotta ask this too. The big thing here was, you mentioned earlier that you did lose, and I can't believe it. I mean, it's funny, when you said it earlier, I was like, well, there goes one of my questions. But I mean, maybe you can elaborate. I don't know, but it must have been a heartbreaker. You lost by 1 pin on a major stage, and I wanted to ask that as well. I mean, you being in 6 Hall of Fames, sir, you have seen your share of the biggest stages I think anybody has probably ever seen in the sport of bowling. Besides that, I mean, if you want to go into detail on that one, but have you ever lost on any other huge stages, maybe like, you know, in a final or something? And then counter to that, I mean, how was it, of course, winning, I guess you could say, like, you know, the big ones, like the Super Bowl, if you will? I mean, how was that, the moment you win those things? I mean, how does it feel when you get it? So I guess like a two-parter, I guess. So have you ever lost on the big one and then won on the big one, of course? And how were those both?
Well, the second biggest defeat I ever had was bowling in a pro tournament in Torrington, Connecticut, and it was actually the week before Patti and I had gotten married back in 1987. With 5 games to go in the tournament, I was running away with the tournament. I'm thinking at this point, I mean, I just wanted to continue to sustain my good shot making, my concentration, all that other wonderful stuff. But there came this young man, not much younger than I am, name's Andy Nyer. He's from the Boston, Mass area. And Andy and I have been buddies. We've hung around on tour off and on for, you know, a bunch of years previous to that. He decides to bowl the 5 greatest games of his life, including a 300 game that he bowled against me. And in the title match, he just actually ran over me. I ended up finishing second in that tournament by like maybe 20 something pins.
Oh man,
that's incredible.
You know, truth be told, I had that tournament won. It was kind of a heartbreaker, but nothing like the heartbreaker that I had back in 1983. I don't think there's another instance in my entire bowling career where I, you know, would probably be involved in a heartbreaker. And I had a reputation in the Buffalo area for being a bridesmaid of bowling anyway.
Oh, no. Oh my goodness! Well, I gotta tell you though, hey, you got married to Patti after that, so I'm sure, hey, you definitely hit the championship in that one, right? So,
Oh yeah, Patty's been one of my greatest supports through the years.
Oh, that's good.
In fact, when my picture was on the cover of I believe it was the April 1983 cover of Bowling Magazine.
Wow.
She was behind me. There was a crowd of people. She's behind me. And she was holding on to the arm of one of the tournament officials.
Oh, wow.
Hoping that in the last shot of my second game, I would end up bowling a 300. I ended up bowling 298.
Oh, my
goodness. Those two pins right there probably cost me the title, but I could think of a lot of other instances. And 2 days later, when we were bowling the doubles and singles, that I could have probably I left too many pins on pin deck.
Oh my!
Whether it was due to carelessness or the way that the oil transitioned on the lane, that was. Like I said, I could find a lot of pins I left that would have gotten me that all-events title. And I truly believe that losing the all-events title, even though it was like by one pin, I probably could have wrote my ticket in my bowling career and in my life at that point. But unfortunately, something or somebody would have much rather me have done other things besides maintaining and sustaining a professional bowling career past, say, I think it was 1991 when I had quit bowling on the Pro Tour and decided to go into graduate school. Thanks to Patty's support, too.
Oh, that's nice.
That's amazing. Hey, look at that. I mean, you gotta love it. That support that's amazing. We're I guess you could still call us newlyweds, Fran. We're gonna be married a year in May, so I'm just saying,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we're so happy, and hey, you know what? It's so cool and just wonderful, heartwarming hearing you and Patti with that beautiful support and camaraderie because we have that, and it's like we know that as long as we have that, we can end up like you guys one day, just longfully, lovingly, happily married, and we're so excited for that. But I do gotta say this too. Just a little side note here, but thank you. I mean, you lend us your amazing wife for 1 hour a week, and she puts on one of the best shows I think this world has ever heard. So we thank you for supporting, for just all the support. She tells us all the time, trust me. She's like, oh, my husband, he's so supportive. He does this and he does this and he helps us out. And he went and got me an iPad. He's so supportive. And we just want to thank you for supporting her with this because
thank you.
She is incredible. I mean, yeah, we truly love Patti here, and we just thanks again for all of the support for her.
She's awesome, and she's an awesome announcer. This has been something she's wanted to do, was to put herself out there. She's actually a professional speaker and does a lot of work with doing presentations. Not just locally, but even at the regional and national levels with her work in the local tobacco control program, and not just here, but also on state and national levels. So she's an amazing presenter, and
that's awesome.
Awesome.
She can do things. She can do things behind a mic and a podium that I can't even dream of doing. So.
Right? Neither can I.
That's incredible. I mean, that is amazing. Once again, your guys' support for each other is so awesome. But okay, so I know I'm going a long way with this one question, but I think I really want to know too, the big one. Instead of talking about like all of the big ones that you won, because I know you won plenty of them, how about a little twist in that question? The first time you won a major event, I mean, how was it? Was it surreal? How did it feel?
Well, it was definitely something that, was incredible. I mean, winning the team event in the American Bowling Congress tournament in 1983 was by far my greatest winning achievement. despite winning a number of other bowling titles on the state and local, regional, and even on the international scene. But that particular tournament basically not only put me on the map of bowling back in the early 1980s, but also put Western New York, especially Niagara Falls, on the map as well, because you get this 24-year-old kid who's living within a 10-minute drive of the local convention center where the tournament was being held, just going out there and just having a career moment. And that, I would think, surpasses any and every title I've probably ever won bowling. And I've won a few.
That is incredible because, I'm probably sure there's nothing like that one. You can win all of them after that, but that one is the one that stands out. So I think that's absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm. I know we already kind of asked this earlier, but I was wondering on how did you begin bowling and what got you interested in it?
Well, I've always had an interest in bowling. My father bowled. My uncle, his brother, was a fantastic bowler and bowled against guys. He used to travel from Niagara Falls to New York City and New Jersey on train because my uncle worked on the railroad. And he would take his bowling equipment with him, and he bowled against some of the best bowlers in the country while he was working. And he was, just standing by waiting to get back into the Western New York area from his, work down in New York City. And my uncle was inducted in the Niagara Falls Bowling Hall of Fame back in the late 1960s. So it was not only my father that got me really into it, but it was actually my uncle that really piqued my interest. Not only, in just bowling itself, but the competitive end of the sport.
That is incredible. I think that is great to hear that. Like it's always been there. I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's what it's all about. When it's always been in your heart, it's just something that, it's definitely not easy what you've done. Because, trust me, Patti, it's funny, when Patti said the other day, she's like, I get so happy, she's like, it's so cool that you're going to have him on the show, and he can talk about bowling, he knows everything about bowling, and, it's something that's so... She said, it's something that, anybody can do. And then I was thinking to myself, like, well, Patti, yeah, anybody can get a bowling ball and throw it at some pins, but not everybody can do what your husband can do. So I just want to, not everybody can do what you do.
Yeah. Well, but truth be told, bowling is an easy activity to engage in because basically anybody can do it. Well, I can't do it anymore because I don't have a shoulder, a clavicle, a bicep, or a UCL left. But, to master it is very challenging. And I've been very lucky to have a number of people who've supported me through some instruction and pointers that have helped me to maintain my abilities for many, many years, including probably the last 2 or 3 years that I was actively competitive because truth be told, I was losing it. But that's okay because, I felt I really didn't have too much more to prove. The only thing I wanted to prove was I was having a great time and having fun at it.
Yeah, of course. That's something too you don't really think about is like after playing it for so long, the injuries that you can get from after playing the game. Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know Patti wants me to take up bowling left-handed, and it's, it's still on the, I'm going to consider it list. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know. You might end up you might want to be careful there. You might end up in 6 more Hall of Fames. I don't know, man. with as good as you are, so.
I'll be happy to bowl an occasional 160 game left-handed.
That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Did you practice at all, like for the tournaments coming up? for it? Or did you just, like, go with it, I guess?
Like,
oh, no, I've actually practiced from the time I was a kid until probably 5, maybe 7 years ago. I used to practice between bowling leagues, tournaments, and practice. I bowled anywhere from 80 to about 120 games a week.
Oh, wow.
And did that for probably 50 years.
Dang.
Well, maybe close to 45. But then again, with all that wear and tear and repetitiveness,
I bet.
Eventually caught up to me, where I went from throwing 16-pound bowling balls up until just before I had to put the bowling balls in the bowling shoes away, where I was actually throwing 14-pound bowling balls. And even with the 2 pounds lighter, I just didn't have the same range of motion that I had back when, I was, in my prime.
That is
so,
man, to think that, and once again, I mean, you've done it all. I mean, it's just a natural thing, of course. Unfortunately, we all, get to that point where it just, you can't do it like you once did it, and unfortunately, injuries can end the careers. But I'll tell you, that's just incredible, though. I mean, I can't believe that 80 to 100 games a week. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you get into the Hall of Fame. That's how you get into any Hall of Fame. All right, I mean that's incredible.
It takes time and effort.
No, that's for sure. So, also with exercising.
Yeah, did you have to like exercise like for especially with your dominant arm that you bowl with? Did you have to like make that stronger or anything like that?
Oh yes, I lifted weights. I've done light calisthenics. Actually, and I tell this to people because this is more of the truth than anything. I'm not really crazy about giving out bowling secrets. But bowling is actually a leg game. It's not necessarily an upper body game. The swing is what gives the bowling ball its momentum and direction. And the hand provides the rotation of a bowling ball. The legs is what gives the bowling ball the momentum and the leverage that's needed in order to get the kind of ball motion that you need in order to be able to strike and make spares.
Wow, I would have never thought, but that makes sense.
That's incredible. It's a full body motion though, and it makes so much sense. I mean, after 20 years of football, to think I would actually consider that, but my goodness, That's incredible. So, wow. So that's a great question. My wife is coming up with that, like, out of nowhere. But yeah, I mean, types of workout regimens. I mean, I'm sure, you probably had to hit the weight room and stay pretty in shape and build up some muscle to actually do what you did.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's in today's professional and, highly competitive bowling scene these days, you've got these bowlers today are going to the gym constantly. They're lifting weights because with these newfangled bowling balls that have been out for the last 20 or so years, you actually need to throw these balls harder down the lane than back when we were throwing much more legacy and weaker bowling equipment back in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s.
Oh, wow.
So I'm watching YouTube videos and TikTok reels of bowlers who actually work out and quite intensely, which is a great thing because obviously, this equipment's going to get you injured a lot faster than the legacy equipment that I used back in the day. So that's why working out and staying in shape is extremely important for these youngsters that are coming up as bowlers these days. And a lot of them are also going to the two-handed style as if they were starting bowling again. In fact, the greatest bowler on the planet right now, Jason Belmonte, is from Australia. He throws a bowling ball with two hands, just like a little kid.
Oh, wow.
This guy's a national hero in Australia, and obviously he's won more major titles on the Pro Tour than any other bowler in the history of the planet.
And you know what's okay? So kind of crazy you would bring this up, and I'd never even showed my wife this. I had no idea he was actually on that level. But I remember seeing him. I mean, I was on like all-time greats or greats at the moment. I remember one time seeing something bowling on ESPN years and years and years ago, and it's hilarious because he's the person I've never seen somebody so close to my actual last name than him, which is crazy because you put an S on the end of his last name and it's my last name, and my last name is extremely rare, and it's even crazier because my last name is. I mean, it's incredible. You know, Spanish, of course, Spain, northern Mexico, and I just think it's crazy because. He's from Australia, so I always thought that was crazy, and I never really do that. But anyway, so that was a little side note. But I do got to say this. Of course, I know we're running here towards the end of the interview, and hey, we kept you even longer. Sorry, but we loved it. You were great talking to, and we loved it. So
thank you.
Absolutely. So I got to say this one deal. Got to say that this is so. As we said before, we jumped on here for the interview. My wife used to be an avid Wii Sports bowler, okay, back on the video game back in the day. And it's funny because nowadays we have, of course, our Nintendo Switch, and we love playing it. And she really wanted the sports game, of course, the what is it, Switch Sports, and it has bowling for the bowling.
Something like that.
Yeah, she loves bowling, and so we're playing and we enjoy doing it. Well, the other day, during her many beatings of me, because she gets beats up on me during that game, I try my best, but now I'm going to use the legs. Now you're in trouble. Yeah. Now I didn't know that. It's legs. You're in trouble. We're going to play later on. But, okay, so I'm just kidding.
I don't know if that counts in the... the video game.
but there's one thing, Fran, the craziest thing. So, my wife just, of course, loves beating up on me in that video game, and well, she the other day bowled a, strike, and then she got a double, and then she, of course, knows that because of the Wii a long time ago, that 3 strikes in a row is called a turkey. So I didn't even know that really. I thought it was pretty cool. And then she's like, turkey? Okay, well, she went on a major streak, kind of like how you had that gentleman that went off on you and just happened to play the greatest game of his life. Well, my goodness, my wife goes ahead and bowls 3 more strikes, and we were I was cheering her on because we were like, what is the next one called? Like, all these craziness. Well,
I didn't know anything up after turkey, so when I got the other ones, I was kind of surprised on what they're called.
It's crazy. We saw it happen, and well, a 4-bagger, and then out of nowhere, she rolled a 5-bagger, and she went all the way up to a 6-bagger.
No, I didn't get that. It was just 5.
Oh, 5. And we were like, this is crazy, like bagger. So since you know this game inside out, Fran, talk to us. How did these names happen for strikes? Like, do you know the history of it? How did they get their names?
I've seen so many articles about these names that the only one name that I know right off the top of my head that has been around is the 4-bagger, the 4 strikes in a row, which has been called the ham bone. And the reason they call it the ham bone, for God knows whatever reason, is because the announcer who was doing the PBA tournaments back, I believe it was in the 1990s, early 2000s, decided he was going to call a 4-bagger a ham bone. Oh. So you go from turkey to ham, and he called it a ham bone. And of course, that basically, that was basically what the 4-bagger is. And then you would have, a couple of years later, you would have the 6-pack, because on the Pro Tour back not very long ago, if somebody bowled 6 strikes in a row, Pabst Blue Ribbon provided a 6-pack of beer to the bowler on tour on TV, getting that 6-bagger. Anything else after that or before that, I couldn't tell you.
That's incredible. What a cool ham bone. But yeah, well, this just so you know, she'll probably be bowling lots of ham bones on me for future reference. But I thought that was so cool hearing that today. Like,
I wish I could have really bowled like that in real life, though. But I'm only a good bowler in the video game.
Well, if I could share this, I can't bowl on Wii. I tried it. I think the best game I ever bowled on a Wii machine is probably about a 75.
Oh, wow.
I've got my niece, who's back at the time was all of about 4 or 5 years old.
No way.
Was beating me like the principal using a paddle with a hole in it for wind resistance.
Oh my gosh! I guess I had a feeling it was going there.
4-year-old kid.
Oh my gosh! And he's like, "Yeah, I'm in 6 Hall of Fames, but you know, my 4-year-old."
Forget Wii though. Wii doesn't work for me.
I'm the same way.
I can't do with a joystick what I could do to a bowling ball.
I'm right there with you, Fran. That's how I always felt. I'm right there with you. Growing up, everyone loved Guitar Hero and Rock Band. All these video games where they have these plastic guitars. I'm like, man, give me a real guitar. I'll play that same song. You know what I mean? So I'm totally with you. Totally with you on that, Fran. But that was incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, there's that applause button. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Fran Bax, 6-time Bowling Hall of Famer. I mean, sir, it has been such an honor having you on tonight's show.
Thank you so much for giving your time.
Yes. Thank you guys. This was awesome, and it's good to have had this time to do this, and like I say, Patty's sitting there waving, saying hi. So continued success with your radio station page on, I guess it's on the web somewhere. I don't know. Patty sends me links before I get on it. So I know you do everything. That's all that is sports, but I'm glad to see that bowling got its 15 minutes on here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's what we love. That's what we love about our show too, that we do on Friday nights, is because you know what? There's a time and place for baseball and football and hockey and everything else. But at the end of the day, no one really pays attention to other games that you are in fact putting so much time and effort into, such like bowling, So I feel like we just really wanted to add that, and it's something that I'm excited to start covering even more PBA and start getting more into it, because it's a real thing that people put real time into and dedication. I know what it's like to give so much of myself, almost every single bit of myself, even in college, especially playing football. So I know exactly what it feels like to give everything until you just you don't go no further playing the sport. So somebody like yourself who's gone above and beyond, I mean, anything that I could have ever done in any sport I've ever played, I admire it so much. And Cecilia, we both admire that so much, and we just want to bring out the fact that, hey, there's other sports out there that take so much as well. And you, sir, have accomplished so much at the top of this amazing game called bowling.
Well, thank you very much, Cecilia and Larry, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show with you guys, and keep up the great work that you do.
Well, thank you very much, and we appreciate you. So, last but not least, Mr. Fran, what do you want to? Anything else you'd like to add before you're out here? Any final words for our listeners out there tonight?
Go Bills.
I love it. That's what I'm talking about. Well, Fran, thanks again. We appreciate you so much for your time. Take care. God bless you and Pat. You guys are amazing. And we look forward to having you on a future show, because we want to talk some more bowling. We got more questions.
Yeah. Thank you again.
Appreciate it, Larry. Take care of yourself.
You too.
Take care. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Fran Bax. My goodness, what a great guy. He was so cool, and so glad to have him tonight on air. That was a lot of fun having him, and I just got to say, we are so excited to be able to have him back, hopefully soon. He was really, 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 really cool, and that was a fun interview.
Yes, it was.
So. Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take ourselves a quick break. When we get back, we got plenty more coming up here. You are listening to the Sports Club Perspectives right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patti Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo sports with a twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patti Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sports Club Perspectives right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport. Can we get one more hand clap for that awesome man, Mr. Fran Bax?
Woo woo.
Was that not awesome?
That was fun.
That was so much
I learned
fun.
a lot about bowling.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
That I did not know before, and now I have the knowledge, so thank you, Fran.
Right, it was amazing. We appreciate him so much. Once again, thank you, Fran. That was amazing, and yeah, I am not too proud to admit that my wife kicks the crap out of me in bowling on on our Switch, so...
Yep.
I keep on wanting to say we.
It's well, because it was we. I mean, it's still the same company, but...
Yeah, that was...
It is kind of weird to say Nintendo Switch
sports,
I
know.
where it sounds better as Nintendo Wii.
It's a little weird, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, sports, whatever.
Yeah, it's all
yeah.
yeah. Well, y'all, with that said, we gotta cue that music, because we gotta clear the space for our boy, Mr. Mike Pat. But we got about 4 minutes to talk to you guys, because it's a long track, so we just gotta say, thank you all so much. This show has just been... It's been so much fun to do over the years.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy, right? To think. I mean, we've been around for so long now. The show's been around since 2020.
Dang, really?
Crazy, right?
Wow.
Well, really 2021. The start of it. But still!
Because it started with your show first.
Well, yeah. But then 2021 in January is when we started it.
Oh, dang.
Crazy, right?
I feel like we just started this year.
I know, right? Here we are, season 5, all our craziness, all of our silence sometimes because of good old work. But I'll tell you what, finding our balance is always tough. But the most rewarding thing in the world is knowing that we are touching young people's lives with what we do. And with what we do as well on here.
Yeah.
We're so happy to speak to all of you each week.
Yeah.
So we just want to say thank you for putting up with us sometimes in our schedule that seems to go all over the place. But as you can see, we're much more steady now. We're 3 months strong now.
Heck yeah.
Right? So we're
it gets better every time.
Right? So we're just going straight from there. And we appreciate you all. Everybody in the chat room, oh my gosh, the comments were hilarious. Angela talking about she couldn't even bowl 2 games, let alone without getting tired, let alone 100. And
yeah.
All that dedication, though, from Fran, and just amazing stuff. We really appreciate all y'all tuning in tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, seriously, we appreciate you all. This has been so much fun. So, yeah, big ups to everybody for being here and just for being a part of the ride. We are so happy that IE Sports Radio has come this far. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we are just, my goodness, we're 2 months away from 9 years on air.
Woohoo!
Yeah! This has been a journey. And you know what? It's going to get even more special. I mean, come on, y'all. Our wedding anniversary is on the same day now as IE Sports Radio's birthday. I'm just saying.
Hey, at least now you can remember both of those. Oh. Easy. I'm just kidding. That'd be more like me. I don't remember things very easily.
Well, we appreciate you all for being here tonight. Thank you all so very much. Any last comments for our listeners out there tonight?
Thank you for listening. Take care, be safe, and stay healthy.
Please do, y'all. You can follow us all as a whole at IE Sports Radio all over social media. IESportsRadio.com is where you want to find us. Our personal page, IESportsRadio.com/The Sports Code Perspectives. You can follow us all on Twitter at TSCP_IESR. Well, that's going to do it. Thanks again for tuning in. We love you all. You guys are amazing. For my beautiful wife, Cecilia, for me, your boy, Larry B, this has been the Sports Code Perspectives right here on IE Sports Radio, your directory for all that is sports. We'll see y'all next week. Until then, take care, and as always, God bless.